Good evening, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. All right. So there's been a conversation still looming, and it's pertaining to the slap heard around the world. We all know what that is. This Will Smith, Chris Rock situation. Well, there's still a conversation going on, and people are trying to say you have one side saying, um, Will Smith did the masculine thing and protecting his the honor of his wife and all of that blah blah blah. And other people say that Chris Rock did the manly thing and maintaining his composure, not stooping to that level, and understanding the importance of the night and not wanting to mess it up. So he was able to control himself, and that was the more manly, masculine quality. But I would like to say that, in that scenario, both of those qualities are considered masculine qualities. Because one thing, as a male, we are aggressive, and our aggression can be exerted if we are provoked to do so. That's one of the things about us as men. And that's not to say that women cannot be aggressive, but it is in a man's nature to be aggressive. And so that is something that comes out whenever we're put in a certain situation. And so what Will Smith did was part of a man's nature to do. And so you can see that as a masculine and manly quality that Will Smith uh, demonstrated. A man gets tired, he only puts up with so much, and then he has to put his foot down, take a stand. That's a quality that, is always tied into manhood. Um, Also, on the flip side of that, we look at Chris Rock. Now, Chris Rock, he understood the assignment, and he was not going to allow what was happening around him to get him out of character and to cause him to act out in a way that would jeopardize pretty much all of the stuff that he's been working for. What if Chris would have responded with violence as well, and those dudes would have been rolling around on stage, fighting each other? What would the conversation have been then? And for Chris Rock to demonstrate self-discipline and um, just control of your emotions, all of these things in that moment, that was a great thing for some people to see. Somebody needed to see that. Somebody with anger issues needed to see that. Somebody with self-control issues needed to see that. But most importantly, somebody who's been bullied needed to see that. They needed to see that it's okay. They needed to see that just because somebody feels that they have to put their hands on you, that does not diminish who you are as a person. And so both of these men, both of their acts, separately and collectively, are male attributes that we exercise on a daily basis. We exercise our aggression. We see it all the time with all of the murders and all of the fights and all of the back and forth that we have going on in this country. There's so much aggression that's being just doled out every which way you go, every which way you look. And then on the other side, you may not see it as much, but there is a lot of self control. There's a lot of men out here who can control themselves. They can control that appetite for a woman. They can control that appetite for those vices that we so easily get caught up in on a regular basis. There's some people who just are blessed with that level of self control. Now, can self-control be learned? Yes, it is a behavior and it can be taught, can be learned. It's something that you can develop over time. That's if you want to. But for the most part, you have people out here who's operating without any self control whatsoever. And that's why we see the nation in the state that it's in now, because we have people with no self discipline whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. If we did have that, then we wouldn't have all of these lobbyists who have so much influence within our government because of the money that they're willing to give, because we will have people who have the discipline to not take that money, who has the discipline to live within their means, so they're not wanting for anything, and therefore that would take away the temptation of the bribes and the extra incentives that are given to politicians that causes them to stray away from what their original mandate was. So I practice both sides of the spectrum. I want to be a man who's chill and laid back. And if you were to come up on me in that type of situation, I would like to be that man who would be able to withstand that slap for a bigger picture and for a greater cause. I don't think I'm that man yet. I mean, I want to be. I really, truly do. But, coming up the way that I came up and having the love of the art of boxing within me is something that just makes it 10 times harder for me to be able to turn the cheek in a situation. But that is what I strive for: the peace of mind, the confidence in self, and the self discipline to be able to get slapped on one cheek and turn the other cheek to somebody. That is that's one of my goals that I strive for, and it may take a long time for me to get there because, like I said, I have this sense of righteous indignation, and I feel like sometimes if I'm standing on the right side of the situation, then I'm gonna fight tooth and nail, and I really don't mind. So it's hard to resist this fighting spirit that resides in me, especially if someone is trying to harm me or anybody who's within my inner circle. And, like I said, being trained to be a boxer, and that gives you a sense of no hesitation whenever time comes to act because you already know what to do. You've been trained in this for years, and you've prepared yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that for the type of situation that arises that will cause you to have to put hands on somebody. And I've been enjoying that stuff, and that's why I have to avoid fighting in any altercation at all costs, because I love to fight. But nowadays, fighting doesn't end in you walking away and the other person walking away. A lot of times, it ends in somebody getting angry because they can't take an L and taking somebody's life because they don't want to be embarrassed. So I really, really have to be mindful of the interactions that I have with people, and I, don't want to deal with a person that I know is unstable and really doesn't have good social skills, because that's an easy way to put yourself in a bad situation, and create a situation that doesn't need to be. I've seen many times where situations have been created that ended ultimately in the death of somebody unnecessarily. It just wasn't warranted. It wasn't necessary. If anybody's been following me for a while, I lost a homeboy on Halloween night, and it was a prime example of what I'm talking about. It was absolutely unnecessary. unwarranted, uncalled for loss of life. And this is where we're at. But as men, we have to be able to exercise self-control. That is one of the biggest things. Now, that it it shouldn't I shouldn't have to say that that goes for women as well, but I will, just for the sake of argument and for the sake of the listeners. So we're all trying to improve ourselves. We're all trying to find that greatest version of us so that we can go forth and we can not only enjoy lives ourselves, but be enjoyable to be around and help make life more enjoyable for others. This is a genuine desire in the hearts of most people, most decent people. That's what they feel. And so you have to be able to balance yourself between the two, because there's going to come a time for war and there's going to come a time for peace. And you're going to have to be able to operate within both of those in a spirit of excellence, being led by the Spirit of God. And so the duality of it and the balance that it causes within our life is just reiterating and reinforcing the message that I've been saying this whole time. You've heard me give so many different talks, I guess you can call them, about so many different subjects. I have almost 1,000 videos, and I don't really think two videos are going to be the same. But I will reiterate certain things whenever it happens to come up in a conversation or a topic that I'm speaking about, because I really want people to understand the importance of what I'm saying. I'm very big on words, and when I speak, I'm speaking from a place of purity. I'm speaking from a place of no malice, and I'm speaking from a place of genuine concern. And if you can't discern that, then you don't operate in that spirit. So I can't fault you for that. But what I will tell you is a lot of people miss out on having a great interaction or a good experience or even making a good friend for the simple fact that they can't determine what my motive is, and by me being the way that I am. Everybody's looking for aggression. Everybody's looking for somebody um to be in your face. Everybody's looking for that. And there's just some people out here in the world that ain't what we're about. We don't like to be the center of attention. We don't like to be the alpha. We're okay being the sigma. We're okay being the beta. And if you look at the depiction of Will Smith and Chris Rock in that moment, then Will Smith would be in all rights and intents characterized as the alpha male. And Chris Rock would definitely be characterized as the beta male. But I submit to you that they were both beta males. It was just one beta male had an alpha moment. And, you know, like I said, it's not my place to say who's right or who's wrong, but I definitely want to shout out Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle is the one who uh, gave that insight as to both of these men being a representation of manhood. Their actions are representation of what manhood is about. That was Dave's whole point, and this is what makes him one of the greatest comedians slash storytellers slash social justice activist of all times. Because not only does he give you a laugh, a genuine, hearty, wholesome laugh, but he also gives you commentary. He gives you something to think about as he simultaneously has you laughing. That is a very special gift, and he's very blessed to have that gift. But we have to, once again, maintain balance in all things. All the way across the board in our life, we always have to maintain balance. This is what gives us a good life. This is what gives us a happy life. Because if you have everything that's always good all the time, at some point you're going to form some type of paranoia waiting on that bad moment to come or something bad to happen because you know you know how it is. You're like, man, this is too good to be true. That term was created for a reason. Somebody was enjoying something for so much that they didn't want it to end, but they knew inevitably it was going to end. And so, for the rest of the time that they were partaking in whatever this activity was, they weren't able to enjoy it as much anymore because of the paranoia of when it was going to be over. Yeah, that's kind of tough. So, we will definitely worry ourselves to death if we're just having too much fun, and at some point we're not going to be able to have fun anymore because we're going to start worrying about when this fun was going to be over. We wouldn't be able to have it anymore. And so then on the other side of that, you want to be the type of person, you can't just be too passive, and passive is a part of self control. Because now I'm not saying that you have to be all the way passive and allow someone to step over you and use you as a doormat. No, but you have to be willing to concede because you see that there's no benefit in engaging in the challenge that's set before you. And I can do that if I somebody mad at me for whatever reason to the point to where they want to fight, and I'm like, there's no benefit in this fight. If I come and whoop you, then you're gonna go and get a gun. Now it's gonna turn into gunplay, and now I gotta go get a gun, and I have to kill you, or you kill me, or we mess around and a stray bullet hit somebody else. Now I'm facing prison time for the rest of my life, all because I wasn't able to control myself in that moment. And so, we have to be able to learn how to turn it on and off. That's where the balance comes in. I got to know when to be able to turn on my aggression and exert my aggression in order to stand up for myself and stand up for others around me. But I also have to know when to humble myself and chill whenever somebody's taking a stand against something wrong that I'm doing. I need to be able to humble myself. I need to be able to recognize my fault and operate in some self discipline and correct myself in that moment. So if I do not have these two, if I don't have these two traits, then I'm going to be off balance and it's going to cause a continual problem in my life until I figure out what needs to be done to get me to a place of balance. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm creating balance in my life so that I will be a whole man, not what everybody considers a man. A whole man is a man that's balanced. A good man is a man that is balanced, because anything outside of that, you're going to have the potential to influence one way or the other. And so that's all I really wanted to put on your minds for this evening. It's getting kind of late. Had a long day. Happy birthday to my grandson Nova. We spent the day with him, enjoying his birthday, and yeah, Papa tired now, so I'm getting ready to go and chill. Hey man, y'all have a blessed evening. Get up tomorrow, go break bread with the Lord, and do whatever you do, but just be blessed and be a blessing. So this is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.